Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. That's more than 5.5 years of Torah every single weekday morning, finding each other from every corner of the world, no matter where we are, knowing that we are together, that we'll find each other. We'll learn some Torah. We'll face the world as it is, knowing that we can make it a little bit better. Penny, it's good to see you. Amy and Bria, welcome. Amy, good morning. Debbie and Sandy, Cecile and Rosa, good to see you too. Penny, thank you. It is broadcast 1417. Tara and Neil, Susie, good morning, friends. Ashley and Peter, Lydia and Barry, Linda and Barbara, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's take a breath. We'll sing a bracha. We'll learn some Torah. Ya lai 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 lai, today I lai lai lai, today I lai 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 lai, I lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah, hafoch ba v'hafoch ba, la'asok b'divrei Torah. Today I lie, 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 lie. Today I lie, lie, lie. I lie, 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 lie. I lie, lie. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see all of you. It's really great to see the Boker Tovs. And I know I was back on Instagram on Friday, but what a gift it is, friends, to see all of us showing up from all of our different spaces. Taking a breath with you. Today is a very significant day. Today we are able to say that our beloveds, Captain Omer Nutra, Colonel Asaf Hamami, and Staff Sergeant Oz Daniel are home in Israel for proper burial. 758 days later, we are able to welcome our beloveds home, and for the sake of their families, even though nothing about this is simple, to know that there will be the ability to treat them with the dignity they have deserved for the entire time, for more than 2 years. Their family has held all of us, and we have held their families. I want to say their family members' names, because they have been in our hearts and minds as well. Captain Omer Nutra's parents, Ronan and Orna, our beloved friends, and his brother Daniel, all three of them have worked tirelessly everywhere around the world. Colonel Asaf Hamami's wife Safir and their children Ella, Alon, and Arbel are finally able to treat with kindness and care their husband and father. Staff Sergeant Oz Daniel's parents Meirav and Amir and his twin sister Hadar are able now to bury their beloved. There are 8 beloveds still in Gaza. They have deserved care and dignity the entire time, and we will not cease in our efforts to bring them home so that their families can place them to rest. We can place them to rest. There are beloved 8 remaining. We will not stop until they are home. Today is also a very significant day on the Gregorian count of a Jewish moment. 30 years ago today, Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, Zichrono Livracha, was assassinated. I'm imagining many of us remember where we were when he was shot. I was in a gathering in Washington, D.C. with Jewish college students who were learning about leadership and coming together for Shabbat. We were davening mincha. It was the afternoon service on Shabbat afternoon when Rabbi Moshe Edelman, a teacher and friend, ran into the room to let us know what had happened. It was an all-night vigil where we just sat praying all night until we learned that he had died. Today is a day for remembering and for building on legacy. I think about a young man named Omer who grew up in Plainview just like I did, blocks away from where I grew up. Plainview, Long Island now has a park that I used to play in called Captain Omer Nutra Memorial Park. He went to the Solomon Schechter Day School just like I did on Long Island. He worked at Camp Ramah in Nyack just like I did. And Omer Nutra, Zichrono Livracha, is finally able to be treated with the dignity he deserved the whole time. But the lesson here is very complicated, especially when so much of life's story feels like a mirror, because it could have been me. And it could have been any of us. It could have been, God forbid, any of our children. Yitzhak Rabin was a young man. I posted a picture of him in his younger days. We often think about him as the elder statesman. But as one of the leaders of Israel's military in 1967, he helped unify Jerusalem and lead us to success in the Six-Day War. He fought in the 1948 War for Israel's independence. Yitzhak Rabin was a fierce warrior who knew that the only way to achieve Israel's stability and strength was ferocity. And it was he who understood that the only way for Israel's long-term stability and safety to be achieved was also to make peace with an enemy. He said famously, you don't make peace with your friends, you make peace with your enemies. And for him to stand on the White House lawn and shake hands with Yasser Arafat, Yamach Shemo, someone who led through terrorist strategy, attack after attack after attack, whose ideology led to what Hamas has done, even though Arafat also made significant shifts in his own strategy for his own people's well-being, the kind of terrorism that gave birth to the other kinds of terrorism that we continue to face today. It is an incredibly important moment for us to remember what Rabin said. You don't make peace with your friends. I don't know what peace looks like, but there was a very big demonstration in Tel Aviv to commemorate Rabin's assassination 30 years later, where those who pay attention to his legacy, both the fighting and the fighting for peace, acknowledge that while Oslo was too much for Israel's society, what an important thing it is for us to think about what it was aiming for. Lasting peace. Do I know how to achieve that, especially post-October 7th? No. Would Rabin known some of the way forward? Yes. The loss of Rabin was the loss of so much innocence and optimism. October 7th's losses made that stuff even further away. But it is important to remember, as Rosa just wrote so simply, so beautifully, with friends making peace is not required. I wonder sometimes, but especially to the truth that you're pointing. Peace is only a goal in its complete opposite. There has to be a way forward. There has to be a way forward. This week's Parsha, just to bring a little bit of Torah into it, this week's Parsha is Vayera. It was Vayera when Rabin was assassinated. I remember, because the poetry, the tragic poetry of this shouldn't be lost on us. Vayera includes the Torah portion called the Binding of Isaac. We call it Akedat Yitzchak in Hebrew, where Yitzchak was sacrificed on the altar of what many consider a fundamentalist truth. In the name of pursuit and loyalty to God, or to my sense of truth, to sacrifice Yitzchak. Well, our Yitzchak, our more recent Yitzchak, was sacrificed, was murdered on the altar of someone's truth 30 years ago today. It cannot be the way forward. It cannot be the way forward, because the definition of that kind of action is terrorism. To consider my truth more important than your life, so that I will go out and kill in my truth's name. That is very different than self-defense. The complexity of war and geopolitics should not be confused with terrorism. Terrorism is infiltrating a sovereign state and murdering innocents, butchering babies and parents and grandparents. That is terrorism. Self-defense, as complicated as it can be, is not the same. We need to take a moment and pause to remember what we were aiming for. Oslo might have been an impossibility, but its trajectory cannot be. Peace must be the ultimate goal. I really don't know how to get there. I really don't. But we have to get there. We cannot be in an always war. For our children's sake, we cannot be in an always war. So it's not some rosy vision of peace that I'm pointing to. I really don't know how to do it. It can't be naive, and we can't let our guard down. We have learned that in the worst of ways 759 days ago. Because of the ceasefire, even if there is still some fighting happening, and because of the return of the living hostages, we are in a different moment. So much of Israel, physically, I was there for 2 weeks until Friday, is breathing again. Yes, it's not done, but we are breathing again. There is light in people's eyes. But one of the things that space will give us, that space that we only are beginning to feel, the capacity to fill our lungs again with oxygen, to emerge from a different kind of devastation than the Akedah, than the binding of Isaac, but still pain within our family beyond measure. That is also giving us the capacity to see something that is present and will be an enduring thing for our people. Bumper stickers on every surface with the faces and names and quotes sometimes verses of soldiers who have fought. 800 or so, and I will make sure to know the number more specifically because that's the honor they deserve. 800 or so Chayalim, soldiers, have fallen in defense of our people since October 7th. We don't want to continue paying that price for our safety. We will defend ourselves, whatever it takes. Yitzhak Rabin was not unaware of the moral urgency of self-defense for the state of Israel and for the Jewish people. But what we have to do is not see that as the way it should be. There has to be something beyond that. Do I know how to get there? No. Do I imagine it's going to happen soon? No. But we've been praying for peace for thousands of years. We have been praying for peace for thousands of years. Think about all the things during those thousands of years that we have been through as a people. We have been praying for peace. In memory of Yitzhak Rabin, Zichrono Livracha, and in memory and in honor of Captain Omer Nutra, Colonel Asaf Hamami, Staff Sergeant Oz Daniel, and their families, their children, and my children, and your children, in honor of them all, let us remember to pray for peace, that we cannot see, as this Parsha suggests, sacrificing our children as an eternal necessity. We cannot do that. We should not do that. We will not do that. Let's remember that when we must fight, we will, but we should not choose to fight if there's another option, and that other option has a name: Shalom, peace. Send your hearts to the east with me, friends. Let's sing. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון וירושלים. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.